Boom, boom. All right, speaking of courage, podcast. Back in studio. What's up, Chase?
What's going on, Donnie?
What'd you do today?
I took my buddy Kyle here shooting. I went to work, and then we went to the shooting range and put some rounds down range,
What were you guys doing? Like
Shooting.
some turkey thing, right?
Yeah, I work at a range. And we were facilitating a qualification.
That's cool. Right on. So how you feeling today?
Pretty good, man. You?
All right, so what do we got today, Chase?
All right, so for those of you guys that have been watching our show, we've been talking about from the beginning that we want to do some interviews. We want to tell the stories of heroes, especially local heroes and guys that have come before us that deserve to be remembered. We also want to remember the guys that are your everyday guys, your brothers, your cousins, your uncles, the people that you grew up with that are going over and doing kind of extraordinary things, the everyday heroes. So got our first veteran interview here today for sole interview purposes. My good buddy Kyle Carrillo.
Local Mentone boy, too.
Yep.
Right? You were a Mentone boy, right?
Right on the border.
Yeah, you spent enough time in Mentone to qualify.
I walk to Mentone every day.
John says that all the time. He's like, I'm not really I'm like, dude, you're pretty close. You're on the border, but...
Yeah, Kyle's on the Redlands border, but for a little background, not too terrible much. Kyle and I met in first grade. Yeah. We've been best friends ever since.
Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school.
Yeah, Mentone Elementary.
Yeah.
Kyle was the best man in my wedding. I was the best man in his. So, yeah, that's a little...
Kept it together.
Yeah. How long have we known each other then? That makes fucking... Since 1991. It's 2020 now, so good Lord. 29 years.
So you're probably Chase's longest
like
running
10
friend.
Years. Yeah.
What, did you know he was going to be a soldier your whole life?
Yes. And that's why I was too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, is he the one that got you to do it?
He forced me to.
100%. I drug Kyle into the Army, and then I felt terrible after.
He tried to force all of us to, like Steve.
Yeah.
I did, Justin.
I took him seriously and was like, I guess I got to do this.
Yeah.
He fell for it, yeah.
So what was Chase like as a kid?
He was different.
Thanks.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
But always military obsessed?
Military, read a lot of books, knew a lot about history. He was always real smart. Artistic.
Really?
He could draw.
I didn't know
I
that.
still draw.
Only
I
animals.
just on my tattoos.
Yeah,
that you
that's
draw
true,
with
that's
afters.
true.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Only animals.
He got me into old music,
Yeah.
old movies. Whatever I was trying to check out, he would convince me that was
Trash?
Yeah.
garbage.
That's
and then,
stupid.
Watch this. He'd give me homework. Like I'd leave.
But Kyle was my Grand Funk Railroad buddy. Everybody else was too good for Grand Funk Railroad. Kyle liked Grand Funk Railroad. Mm-hmm. So he's got good taste.
Still like him.
So your military service started with Chase, literally. If you didn't know Chase, you wouldn't have gone in?
No, I probably wouldn't have. Nope.
So how did he plant the seed? How did you get this going?
Oh my God. The last. Once we got into high school, he just kept.
Pestering.
Reminded me like
You don't have to be polite.
you're
here.
gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
We're doing this together, right? Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't take SATs. I hardly ever showed up to high school. I didn't care about because I just knew I was going to do it. But before that, he probably convinced me with some story of some
valor.
probably one of these guys that you guys have talked about. On
Yeah.
Don't you want to be like that?
courage and being afraid but still doing it anyways. And like he talked courage into me when we were probably 13.
Yeah.
I never backed down from a fight.
Yeah.
From like a certain talk we had over something that was going on at school. The way I saw him handle all these little wannabe gangsters at lunch in 7th grade, defending me, it changed my life.
Really?
I was like,
That's
I'll never back down anything ever again.
It's funny how we talked a little bit about that I don't know, maybe it was during the tattoo about seeing like the bullies when you stand up to them is really life-changing, man. When you see that they're cowards, you know what I mean?
Seeing the power he had over like 14 dudes, who are all gangster and he's little and in everyone's face and just punking the shit out of them. Yeah. And I was like, that's amazing. Because I kind of froze up. I was scared, but, I could have gone either way. Yeah. And then he just took over. Yeah. And I was like, wow.
Once you see the coward in those guys, you're like, oh, shit. You're just as scared as I am.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. So did you guys enlist together?
Kind of. So me and Kyle, to be fair, Kyle's saying I was like the only reason. Kyle was always patriotic, and Sadly, we didn't have a lot of friends in junior high and high school. So we would spend a lot of time watching movies and watching the war movies. And I think, whether he says it or not, we were both on the same track with the kind of our ideals, the right and the wrong and stuff. But I had the drive to go in, and he was kind of more laid back with it. So like he said, I was always, hey, you got to join the Army with me. Let's go combat arms, and, let's go fight. And
because you guys didn't end up together.
No, okay. And that's kind of the funny part. Most of our lives, it was theoretical, because in junior high and even in high school, it's like, oh, there's never going to be a war again. No, you guys are dumb, blah, blah, blah. And then after 9/11, it was real time. So I remember you saying, I'm thinking about joining the Air Force. I'm like, no, man, we got to be on the front lines and this and that. And then
straighten me out.
Yeah, I drug him to the recruiting office. So we went through. You were in the delayed entry program with me, right? I talked a couple other people into doing it.
What's a delayed entry program?
So remember we were talking about before why the recruiters like high school kids versus I mean, they hate high school kids and they like it because high school kids are wishy-washy. Their girlfriends convince them not to join and stuff. The delayed entry program is a program where you can technically go sign your papers like while you're still in high school, like 6 months out, and then you're part of the Army, but you're not really doing anything. But remember, you went in as a PV2, right? Private 2?
3.
Oh, you made PFC too. Yeah. So you can get ranked by like recruiting other people, and
I got a few.
Yeah. See, you hope we all went down that rabbit hole.
Oh, so we'll give you a bit more rank if you can bring more people to.
Only at a private level, but you can go from E1 to E3, so you get paid a little bit more in basic training and all that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we did that together.
Until you get to basic, and then everyone hates you for that. They're like, how are you a PFC already? Like,
why are you making more money than me?
You. They're like,
really?
What the hell did you do? Did you go to college or something?
Yeah. So you're better off just not wearing.
So who did you guys drag in with you?
Brian Kuntz, Mikey Huber. Who else was? I don't remember.
There was some kid I got credit for bringing in.
So you guys got like 3 or 4 kids?
Yeah.
No shit. And they went on and did it.
Man, I was like,
show up and learn how to march, and there was you had to show up on weekends and do certain. We went on a couple runs and everything, and
I was like a missionary though, like the LDS missionaries. That was me, dude. They didn't even need to be recruiters. They gave me the stuff, and I'm telling Kyle, look at these benefits, and you can do this, and you can do that. And the recruiters are sitting back, and I'm over there doing their job for them, basically.
So you're the dream one for them.
Apparently, yeah. And like I told you, I was easy because I wanted to go infantry, so I went in and I said I want to go infantry. Kyle became a cavalry scout, which is like a recon guy. And was that what made you end up going Cav Scout?
I don't remember his name, but the staff sergeant that worked there.
The tattoos. I remember what he looked like. He had a photo album from the Gulf War. I remember that.
He was like the platoon leader. Or,
yeah. He was in charge of the recruiting
office. He was a scout, and I think Corporal Sailor was too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Corporal Sailor was a scout, and he was a funny guy.
We both had really high ASVAB scores, and they were trying to talk both of it right away when they looked at all our information, trying to talk us out of.
What exactly is the ASVAB for people that don't know?
It's like a military SAT, I guess.
So if you're going to the military, that's your SAT?
Yeah, you have to take the ASVAB to get in.
I remember taking it in the theater at Rev.
If I remember correctly, it's like mechanical skills and like your
like
English language.
And stuff.
It's like different factors. And if you score really low, but you're high in mechanic, you still be a mechanic. Kyle and I were both in the 90s on
Did you guys prepare for it?
No.
Not at all.
No? So it's just more of a different mindset.
Yeah.
People that are more military minded, that it goes to them, right?
Potentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Everybody at Rev, when we went, was supposed to take it. They wouldn't force you to, but everybody went in the auditorium and took it.
I remember taking it. I remember not knowing what it was about. Maybe there's recruiters there that explained it. I don't remember. I remember it being in the theater of Rev.
Something like that.
There were different brackets, for this job, you have to score at least this. For, For intelligence or linguist, you had to be like the top whatever.
I wonder how many guys go in there with no military ideals at all and score off the charts and then end up going military. Wonder if there's anybody that does that.
I don't think the ASVAB convinces people to join one. I doubt it. Yeah.
Okay. So where did it go from there? So you guys are in the delayed entry program. Now, do you guys do the buddy system? Didn't you say if you enlist with someone, they'll keep you together in some cases?
In some cases. That was, I think, our plan probably for years and years. And then for whatever reason, he went cavalry scout and I went infantry.
When he wasn't around and I was in there, and they were like,
this is
grilling me. Like, why? They understood him. He had a couple arguments with him and stuff. And they're like, okay, he's a psycho.
Yeah.
But you need to think about your future and blah, blah, blah. You could be.
You need to get away from that Chase kid.
You could do this. You could do this. Have you thought about this? And I was like, no, I'm just going to go with him. And, that's the plan. So I didn't come here to, like, learn how to cook or anything. Like, I don't care. And they showed me videos, some recruiting videos, like ads for Cav Scouts. driving around little off-road vehicles and doing all this crazy
stuff.
stuff.
Hold on, time out. Did you ever drive an off-road vehicle as
Never.
a Scout? Okay, just wanted to clear that up.
He told me it's the other combat MOS.
Yeah.
He's like, you're not going to be a pussy. Your buddy will respect it. It's the other thing that probably you just don't know about.
Yeah.
But it's another way of being a soldier. It's the other one.
Yeah.
You know, it's infantry and I'm like, I thought that was I didn't know they still had like cavalry, you know?
Yeah.
And they kind of convinced me. I told Chase that I was thinking about doing that. And I don't know how I think you got mad, right? You're like,
I don't remember this.
Or you know what? I think I signed up.
That's probably it. Yeah.
My parents didn't know. I threw it out there to him, and he's like, "No, that's gay."
Yeah,
I didn't.
And
I
just went back. I went back and signed it. They convinced me. I'm like, okay, well, I won't. I'll still be doing cool stuff.
Yeah,
learn how to fight and everything, but just be a little bit different. And signed up. Didn't tell my parents.
You didn't tell your parents you enlisted?
Nope.
Kyle had a different relationship with his parents at the time, and it was very because again, my dad was in the Army. He knew the deal. My family knew I was going to join the Army since I was a little kid. Kyle had said it a lot, but I don't think they took him seriously.
So how did you break it to him?
When they started to kind of realize that I was serious about it, they tried to say like, "We won't let you," you know. No, you can't. No. You know, like last minute, like, hey, by the way, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You got to figure something else out.
It's too late.
Whatever. So rather than try to argue with them about it or whatever, I'm like, I'll just go sign up.
Yeah.
You know?
Now what
and
do
then tell them
I'm the government's
I'm
problem.
leaving on this day.
And you told them?
And they were shocked. Yeah. I go, hey, this is the day. So if you want to hang out or anything, you gotta do it before then.
Oh no, dude. So they were freaking out.
Oh, can you give me a ride?
How long did it take them to be cool with it?
To this day.
Yeah.
I think a couple days before I left.
Oh, then they were cool.
You know.
Okay, so do you guys leave for boot camp together?
No, see, that's kind of the funny part because I was the gung-ho, this is my whole life, let's go. He ended up leaving like 2 months before I did.
Oh, so you're all jealous?
So, no, but it was just funny because it was like, bye, Kyle, and he's like, hey, what the hell, man? You know, like he's already in boot camp.
Why were they delayed?
Just because I was infantry, so I had to go to Fort
different
Benning.
orders, huh?
He was a cavalry scout, so he has to go to Fort Knox. It's just spaces to fill, time to go. He went like right after we graduated high school. I went like 2 months after.
Did any of the kids that you guys dragged in go?
Yeah, they all went in.
Did they go? Any of you guys had friends that went to boot camp with you?
No, I didn't know a single soul.
So what's that? What is that like? You get it?
Well, that's the funny part. So he went to Fort Knox, which was different than Fort Benning, but I'll let you kind of talk about what your boot camp or your basic training, as we call it in the Army, was like.
So he ends up at the big cavalry base in Texas, Fort Hood, and I end up at the big infantry one.
At Fort Benning. So
I'm in a small cavalry regiment.
In the infantry.
In infantry.
And that's where you wanted to be?
And I was fine where I was at, but I was in a small infantry unit in a cavalry base. So it was just flip-flopped. It was
that's crazy.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to us, but we didn't know any. We were just dumbass kids. So
boot camp is, where do you get dropped off? You're going to leave, okay? It's your time to leave. You're telling your parents bye. Where do you get dropped off?
That's at the Redlands recruiting office.
Yeah. So you go to the Redlands recruiting office.
I was like, hey, I need a ride over there.
And then what happens?
They're going to pick me up at like 11.
The Tri-City Center over there by Supercuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Okay, so you get dropped off there. Then what happens?
They drive your ass to L.A.
Yeah.
Then you go back through what's called MEPS. I don't know if you had any fun experiences.
I went with
MEPS.
a kid from San Bernardino. Pugh, P-U-G-H.
You remember that, but you can't remember anything else.
So they drive you down to L.A.?
We were both, they drove us down and checked us in, and I can't even really remember.
You stay there all night. So MEPS sucks. It's a military entrance processing station. You are there all day taking tests. They drop you off real early. That's kind of the first time you get to realize you're a cog in the machine and no one gives a shit about you. You're walking around.
So up to that point, they're
Up
chasing.
to that point, they're kissing your ass because they want you to join. At MEPS, you're in somebody else's world. Everybody that works there is an asshole. No offense if you work at MEPS, I don't care.
Yeah.
That you have your shirt off, you're walking around, they're giving you shots, they're making you like bend over and touch your toes. You finish one thing and then you file into another. There's an Army term called hurry up and wait.
How many people are there?
Hundreds. They're just
so
bodies.
there's a lot.
Remember that Eminem video where everybody's looking like Eminem?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. There's just an assembly line of friggin' people and you're one of them. And you go And it's like, oh, I got to get this checked off. Okay, cool. Oh, crap, now I got to get this. Well, now you're in the back of that 200-person line, and then you do it all night. Then you go to your hotel room. You're bunked up with some other guy that you've never met. Could be from any service. Mine was like a 40-year-old guy that was like a young little. I'm like, what the hell is this? Then you wake up. They're like, oh yeah, they give you free breakfast. They wake you up at like 3 a.m. You go down and there's like an apple sitting there, and that's your breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And then you get on the long bus. You go to the airport. At least for me, it should have been similar. They give you food vouchers, and then your big group will start to dwindle. So you're going with all these guys from MEP. So with us, it was like we're going to Fort Benning, which is Georgia. The other guys are going to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and stuff like that. So you guys will all be on like the first leg of your trip, and then when you get to Texas, you'll split off. And then by the time you get to Benning, there's like 7 of you or Knox with you, and then a military representative picks you up at the airport, and then you get on another bus, and then it's a long drive. And for me, I was in Georgia, and it was night, and I remember hearing people speak some foreign language at the airport, and I was like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's English. They're just Southern as hell.
Yeah.
I cannot understand these people, right? Yeah. And then they put us on the bus, and we're driving, and I've never been in a forest before because we're from California, and it was just wall-to-wall trees for hours driving from...
Straight up and down.
Yeah, just straight, like it looks like somebody just plowed through for a road, and just nothing but green, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And then, what time did you get to Fort Knox? Do you remember? Was it like early morning, or was it in the middle of the day?
I can't remember. It'll come back to me. A lot of weird stuff is coming back to me.
Yeah, you remember the name Pugh. That's crazy.
A room with or a bunk, some weird guy from Long Beach.
Oh, yeah.
I never thought about that this whole time till right now.
See, and I just remember, too, because I went to MEPS twice. The one time the guy I shared a room with was like a gangster type guy, and he was drinking cranberry juice, and I didn't know why, and he kept drinking it, and so I smoked some weed. I was trying to clear. I'm like, you're so dumb, dude. But it was just this new world you're thrown into because we're all idealistic. You know, you're expecting other people like you, but you're meeting
Is it intimidating
everybody.
at that point?
I was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I still wanted to do it, but you're
Sounds
realizing...
so uncomfortable.
Oh, it's you can't be any less of a human being, and this is before it's even started.
Yeah.
So with us, when we got to Fort Benning, you get there at like 2 a.m, and they design it that way. So you're on a bus with all these other scared guys, and when you pull up to the gate stops, and an MP gets on, and he starts checking everybody's IDs, and you have your ID, and that's where you're first starting to feel this army, like, you know, you better snap to and listen to these guys, and it's real scary. There's a big buff MP walking around, just giving you dirty looks, and, you know, I'm starting to feel even smaller and smaller. When I joined the Army, I was 5'9", 123 pounds, 18 years old. I looked like I was about 14 years old. So I was like, and some of these guys next to you are grown-ass men.
Reality check.
So it's a reality check. Then they dump you in, you know, same thing.
So when you get off that bus, is it guys in your face screaming at you?
Not yet. So that's the traditional way, and that's how it used to be. I don't know if it was at Fort Knox, but at Fort Benning,
That's actually how it was for us. It was later in the morning.
Yeah.
And... yeah, they jumped on us as soon as we got off.
Gotcha. See, with us, we went to it was called 30th AG. It was like a reception center where it was different. It was like a chill vibe for like a week where you were getting everybody, you're getting your uniforms and stuff. And then when you start basic training, because that's just dead time, then they're all in your face and screaming at you and all that.
Wow. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So how do you focus through that? You just kind of follow suit? You get off your bus.
How'd you survive
so
basic
you just
training,
got off
Kyle?
Kyle, you just get off a bus, and they're on you. What's going through your head at this time? Are you going, Chase, why did I listen to you?
Well, that's a good point. While you were getting yelled at, I was still at home for 2 more months chilling.
I don't know. I just knew. I've always had a weird.
You've had a lot of things, Kyle.
Knowledge about myself that I could handle stuff.
Yeah.
Seeing them in other people's faces and it affecting them and stuff, I just knew once it's my turn and they're in my face. Like, I don't know how it's going to feel, but I know when I'm not going to bitch out.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be okay. And it was crazy, and it was, they scream real loud, and it kind of hurts your ears and stuff, and just make you feel stupid all the time. But I just knew I'm in this big group of all these guys, and we all don't know shit.
Yeah.
And
that's probably a good perspective to know, because if you go in there with that attitude of like, I want to be the star, or I want to show them,
they're going to get
they're
everybody.
Gonna get that.
One of the things I remember, my grandpa, Izzy Ash, he's a World War II vet, and he always told me, he said the same stories over and over, but he's always like, whenever it's hard, just look at the guy next to you, and if he can do it, you can do it, you know, and it was
kind of like
always just look to the guy next to you, and if they're doing it, you can get up and do it a little more. So I was trying to do that, but it's... The yelling isn't bad. It's just like they give you these impossible tasks and you just can't beat them. And
so it's
like
on purpose, though,
It's
right?
on purpose. Yeah, they throw all your bags. Your bags have padlocks on them and they all look the same. They throw them all together and you got 1 minute to get them out. And you're like, what the hell? So you have to go through 60 bags and try to just put random combos and see if that's yours or not. And then when you fail, they just smoke the hell out of you. And like I told you, I was doing 500 push-ups a day before before basic training to make sure I could do it. I got there and no one gives a shit if you can do 500 push-ups. You just get down. You just do push-ups till you can't. You have muscle.
So
fatigue.
whether you can do 10 or 100,
doesn't
don't matter.
Yeah,
right.
once you're done, roll over and do flutter kicks. Once you're done, get up, back. What is it? Back, up, down, go, or whatever. Back, front, go, or whatever. You're dead. You're dead. You're sweating through your t-shirt and through your BDUs. There's just sweat everywhere. It's a miserable, miserable experience. And then the big thing is it's like you're in prison. You can't leave. And you know you have 6 months or 5 months or whatever that is ahead of you.
Do you just want to cry?
Yeah, I did. I don't know about you, but...
Like in the beginning? Or?
Kyle's oblivious to the world.
Are there moments where you're just like, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, I don't want to be here.
I never was crying, but I was definitely like, man, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks so bad.
In the beginning, yeah. But other people did that for, I saw other guys.
So there were guys
it.
breaking?
Oh, I saw
Oh, yeah. Guys faking injuries, guys trying to kill themselves, guys doing all that shit.
Dudes
man.
crying?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
And then
Yeah.
they pick on people. They pick people out. Like if they're going to punish everybody for something that one guy was supposed to do, but was like he was saying it's impossible.
Yeah.
And I just kind of figured that out pretty quickly that it's not that guy's fault that we're all getting smoked now.
Yeah. That's important, too.
They needed that guy. They needed like a fall guy. And
if it's not him, it's going to be somebody else.
I would get frustrated when everyone would buy into that mentality and hate or be mad at the guy who got us all in trouble. It's like,
right.
And I get in fights with people later on like, dude, are you that stupid?
Yeah.
Do you think that he fucked you? Like,
yeah.
You can't change. It doesn't matter how good we do.
So basically, Kyle is fighting the system.
Yeah. So you get through boot camp. How long before you're comfortable in that? How long is boot camp?
So that's what's funny. It's basic training. It's different. I think the Army's regular basic is 9 weeks, but we both went to what's called OSA, one station unit training. So mine was 15 weeks and yours was 16 weeks.
That's a long
time. They're teaching you, because like the Marines and most Army, that you go to your regular basic or your boot camp and then you go to your skills. With ours, they're just from day one, you're doing your skill because your only skill is rifleman. So you're there for 15 weeks and then I got extended quite a bit, which is a whole different story.
So how long before you're that day one, you're getting jumped on, you're freaked out, you want to cry, you're seeing people break.
You're never really comfortable
you're
in
like,
basic training.
I got this.
Never, I would say. You get to a point where you got it, and when you got it, you're over it. You just want to leave.
Okay, so you're never comfortable.
You're tired of it, and you want to get to it. A lot of military training is like, we're practicing for the big game. When's the damn game? I want to go fight. I want to get to my unit. I want to get deployed. Let's get this over with so we're stop pretending that we're getting somewhere. So you just want to get to it. So by the time you finally finish basic training or boot camp and you go to your unit, and it's a whole different ballgame because then you're the lowest on the totem pole again. So he got sent to Fort Benning, Georgia, where I went to basic, and I got sent to Fort Hood, Texas, which is the home of the... He went to the home of the infantry, I went to the home of the cavalry, basically.
Okay.
So a whole different ballgame.
So you get done, then what happens?
Yeah, so you're going to get your orders.
Do you know that the end is coming?
Yeah, you know when your graduation date is. You know it right from the start. And you can't get out of it. So if you fail, they just keep recycling you. You can live there. If you got a 3-year enlistment, you can do 3 years there. They don't give a shit about you.
Really?
If
guys doing that too.
Yeah, you'll see guys break their legs on purpose and stuff.
Holy shit.
And then they just fuck with them, dude. We had guys that were what's called the CQ desk. They'd sit there and answer the phones and stuff, and they'd been there like a year. They were like legendary. You know, we were like joking that they're drawing their GI Bill while they're there and stuff. They can't leave though. And then like your unit will cycle through, and then they'll be there again, and then they'll throw them back. It's just misery program. You're gonna figure it out, and you're gonna graduate, or you're just gonna sit there.
Damn. So. Okay, so you have your graduation day. What's graduation like?
Kyle, you wanna go?
Do your family come out, or is it?
My grandparents came out.
Oh, that's cool.
Both my brothers, my parents.
Are you happy as hell to see him at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
And I was fat in the beginning, so I lost a bunch of weight.
I wasn't going to say it, but
I lost 47 pounds in basic.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Kyle was a big boy before he started.
So I walked right past them and saw them.
Were you shredded?
They didn't know it was me. Yeah, kind of.
Best shape of your life?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you feel it during basic that you were getting fit, or did you just feel like you're getting your ass kicked?
It wasn't.
And this
until,
was just a byproduct?
I was in the bathroom one day, and some guy that I didn't even really ever talk to, probably halfway through, not even halfway through basic, he was like, Jesus Christ, man, you lost so much weight.
Yeah. Didn't you have to get resized for your dress uniform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess I did, you know?
Now, what is the big difference, Kyle, walking into basic and graduation day as a human being?
Kyle's never been a real human being. So.
You know what I mean, though? Like, what is the difference in that kid that walked in and then the kid that walked out?
I was a lot more confident. I felt like I could do anything.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool. I've tattooed guys that have left for it and then come back. It's like a different human being, man. You're like, holy shit! They like turned you into a man in a few months.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's to strip away everything basic and strip away everything nonsensical that you don't need, and to let you find out what you are at your core, and then build back up from there. Yeah, and let you be a warrior is what you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
strip away anything that you don't need on an evolutionary scale to be a fighter, basically.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the idea.
At the end of basic, are you guys just ready to go kill?
I was ready to get to my unit and get it over with because, like I said, you're tired of practicing for the big game and you want to get in it. And when we joined, like I said, we joined after 9/11. We wanted to join before, but there's war on the horizon. So while we're in basic training, there's a war going on in Afghanistan. But we have not gone into Iraq yet, but we know we're going into Iraq. So we're like, guys are coming back to Fort Benning and they're coming and visiting the drill sergeants and being like, hey, sir, I got my combat infantry badge. I wanted to thank you and stuff. And we're seeing these young kids and they're already in the fight over there. I went to basic, I was in Echo Company and Bravo Company. Was Pat Tillman was in my battalion in basic training and stuff. So there's all these, he ended up later dying, obviously, in Afghanistan.
He was there with you?
He was in Bravo Company. I was in Echo Company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Echo 119 infantry. Follow me. But... What were you?
There's something I never thought about or never would have remembered, but Echo 515.
Yeah. Saying it over and over. But yeah, the war's on the horizon, and we knew we were going to war with Iraq months and months and months and months before. So while we were at our boot camp shirts, you make your platoon shirts. Ours said something like "Look out, Iraq" or something. It said like when you care enough to send the very best. Basically, like we were preparing for war in Iraq, not Afghanistan, even though we were in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And this is 2002. So we were waiting and waiting and waiting for that invasion. So we knew war was coming. This wasn't like guys that were in the 80s or guys that were even in the 70s.
Where there's no big game on the horizon.
Yeah, guys that maybe wanted to fight, but it was unrealistic. You're waiting for the Soviet Union. We knew for a fact, unless some crazy thing happened, that we were going to end up in the fight. So we just wanted to go.
So how soon do you guys get in the fight?
For me, it was...
you graduate basic, how soon?
4 months, yeah. So 4 months, I get out. I came home for, I think, 2 weeks. Went back to Fort Benning, and my unit that they ended up assigning me to was the Brigade Reconnaissance Troop, so 51 guys. Reconnaissance for the 3rd Brigade of the 3rd ID.
Yeah.
They were already in Kuwait because that was just part of their rotation they were doing every other year. They had been doing that for I don't know how long, but most of the guys had already been to Kuwait for a year prior. They had just taken off when I got there. So I had no unit. The one that they assigned me to was gone already.
Oh, they're already going to Kuwait?
They're already in Kuwait. They had been in Kuwait for, I think, a month.
And that's your team?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So once you get there, are they sending you there now?
And they're sending me there, and they're waiting for 3 guys that were back waiting for us. Me and another guy that came. Or actually, 2 other guys. One guy that was in basic with me, and another guy that was a couple weeks behind us.
Yeah. They're waiting for him to finish.
They're waiting for all of us to get there, check in.
To get you out there together.
And they left 2 E5s, 2 NCOs, just to... And then there was 2 other guys that ended up not going because they were hurt or something.
Right.
We thought they were going to come with us, but when we went, it was just the 2 E5s, me and my 2 buddies. So I would say maybe... Because we kept getting dates and times that we were going to go, and then it kept changing like everything does in the Army.
Yeah.
I want to say... I know it was... I want to say maybe 3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks sitting around, knowing that there's a unit. We saw pictures of them. We went to the...
So are you bummed out at this point? Like, damn, that's my team. They're already getting together. Like,
I kind of felt like, well, this is stupid. You know, like, yeah. Why did they wait for us?
Yeah, like, exactly.
But it was just it wasn't anything war related. What they were over there, it was just
Regular rotation.
Yeah. I just thought, this is strange. So I didn't get to meet anyone except for those two E5s who were really cool and hilarious guys. They were supposed to be like training with us and making us show up and report and do formations and all this stuff, but we were just hanging out.
Yeah. So when you went to Kuwait, did you take a C-130 or were you on a commercial jet?
Commercial.
Do you remember how long you were on the plane there?
Oh my God. No, on the way in, we stopped in
Ireland, Shannon, Qatar.
I think
Turkey.
Ireland was the way back. I think we stopped in Italy on the way in.
Okay.
And Ireland on the way back home.
Gotcha.
So you get there, then what?
We get there and we go find the unit, and they were they kind of tried to haze us a little. Well, they did haze us a little bit, and
are they good guys or are they assholes?
They were cool guys. Out of the three of us, the two guys that showed up with me and me, they took a liking to me kind of quicker than everyone else. Yeah. I got lucky. These guys were a little bit awkward and easy to make fun of, easy to mess with. Yeah. And I wasn't. Made a good friend right away. Somehow I got lucky, and one of the guys that was in, and everyone liked him, and he was solid. He was from New York. He, for whatever reason, that first day started chatting it up with me, and he just liked me. Yeah. So I automatically had a little bit of an in,
which means a lot in a new place,
right?
Wherever it is in life, but I would imagine,
so
especially in the military,
making us do all this stupid stuff, and I just kind of knew, like, well, I'm cool with that guy. Yeah. And then he seems like he's got a pretty big little group, so yeah. It didn't take long, but yeah, there was a little bit of, everyone kind of pushing you off to everyone else. Like, oh, you need to figure out where that is? Oh, well, go ask him. Yeah. I don't have time to talk to the new guy. I don't have time to make a new friend, Right.
While you were in Kuwait, did the unit, because war wasn't a guarantee at this time. Obviously, the UN and everybody was trying to block the war. Did you guys feel like you guys were going to go over it any day, or were people kind of thinking it's not really going to happen?
I didn't hear anything about it for the first month I was there. I had no idea.
And how long did you end up being there before March, before you guys actually crossed over?
About 5 or 6 weeks.
Okay. So again, he's just a short time out of basic training. I keep wanting to say boot camp because we're the other episodes. Short time out of basic training, just kind of a brief train up. Like with most units, you want to get there and kind of get, like you talked about, comfortable in your soldiering skills. He's thrown into, not only does he, because basic training doesn't teach you how to be a real soldier, it teaches you how to get to the army and survive. And then he's thrown in with these guys who are already over there. They're already, miserable from being there for a couple of months. And then you're getting ready to go into what potentially could cost you your life. And again, for context, we all know now the invasion of Iraq was a steamroll up. We kicked our ass, and then it turned into this long insurgency and stuff. But going up, we had no idea what it was going to be. We didn't know if they were going to use chemical weapons again. We didn't know if they were going to use, anything bigger, if they had weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. And basic training with us, they kept telling us, because we had a lot of drill sergeants that were Gulf War vets, and they kept telling us, this is not the Gulf War. You guys need to understand you're not going to go in, because the Gulf War was 4 days long, the ground war. And the drill sergeants were telling us, this is not going to be that. I remember Drill Sergeant Washington specifically saying, the infantry is going to get its nose bloodied in this war, and people don't expect it. We're going to get fucked up when we get up there, and we're going to have to fight through it. Don't expect to steamroll these guys. He said, last time, we're fighting Kuwait, we're fighting in Saudi. This time we're going to fight in Iraq. We're going in, we're going to go into Baghdad, we're going to take this capital. These people are going to fight. They have, underground cities. They have all this stuff. We need to get, and this is what how old were you? Were you 18 still?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 18 years old. Foreign environment, because whether you're cool with one or two guys, you're still not cool with the big picture.
I think I was 18.
Yeah, you were 18. Yeah, 18 or 19 at that time, I think, because it was March of 2003 was when we crossed the border. So
how old would I have been?
I think 18.
So March comes.
December's your birthday,
and you cross in. I mean, is there a meeting? What happens?
Yeah, the officers were getting their information from wherever, the little meetings they would have and the stuff they would be told, and they had these big like maps and boards and all this stuff for them to draw and plan out things, and we could just tell all of a sudden there was something
something brewing.
Something going on because they started getting all stressed out.
Stuff was changing from the idle you'd been sitting for weeks.
Yeah, and then they, all the joking around and hanging out in the desert. Just the whole vibe kind of changed. And then I was just kind of listening to everyone else, and I just was like, okay, maybe we're gonna do something.
So are you guys like one of the first units across the border?
We were.
You were the first?
The first.
Kyle was in the 3rd Infantry Division, so there's a lot of, who was first. But in that 3rd Infantry Division was the first unit across, and they were the first into Baghdad. There was other units that went across with them, but 3rd Infantry, it was a race to Baghdad between the Army and the Marine Corps and everybody else, and there's people deny it to this day, but the 3rd Infantry Division was the first to Baghdad.
So what's that ride like?
So that brigade, 3rd Brigade, we're the brigade reconnaissance, so we're like a day and a half in front of them. So whenever you hear on the news, we crossed the border, I had already been over for like,
before anything was...
At least 24 hours, I'd already been across. Yeah, we just went in slowly in the middle of the night, drove through.
What were you in?
A Humvee.
Humvee. And what was your position on the Humvee, Kyle?
I was a 50 cal gunner for the 1st Sergeant.
Yeah, so he's up top. So if you picture the Humvee or a Hummer, as civilians call them.
And there's no battles yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Technically. So there's that cuddle opening in the center, sitting up there with no armor behind that big 50 cal gun.
Before all those chicken plates, and I saw recently that they've
now they
got
have
even more advanced.
Yeah, they don't even drive Humvees anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have big.
This is when
trucks.
they first started up. I think the 1114, the up armored. I think that was a new thing where we had a bunch, but we still had a couple Humvees that weren't up armored. They had no armor on them whatsoever.
Wow.
Just
So do you just feel exposed?
None of us had the little guard. Yeah, none of us had the. But the thing is, there's 2 platoons, 1st and 2nd, red and white. They threw me in because of my. They threw all of us in headquarters platoon, but the 1st Sergeant chose me because some stuff that had happened.
Yeah.
In that 5-week period where I was just with them and getting to know everyone, we were training a lot. We were running around a lot. We were boxing. We were doing all this like training. But he chose me to be his gunner. But technically, it was still like a safe place to put me.
Yeah.
Because on combat missions and stuff, it's always going to be one of the platoons doing everything. Headquarters just kind of stays with the 2 radio guys you have and the supply, the 2 supply people. So like 4.
So you're toward the back of the convoy?
And there's 1 NBC.
In theory.
5 people total that aren't Cav Scouts, they're support. We didn't have mechanics. But yeah, so you'd stay with the radio, the communication thing, and that's how it's supposed to work. But the 1st Sergeant, who was my truck commander, he wouldn't stay put. Anytime anything was happening, he made my driver, who's an E5, take us there. He wanted to be a part of it.
He wanted to be in the fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're crossing the border now. What is how long before you face anything? Before you face resistance or enemies, or is it just desert at this point?
It's desert. It's
empty.
So it's night. I remember the commander. We all huddle around, and he's showing us like on a map what we're gonna do, and we have to get from here to here, and it's gonna take us about this long, and this is how fast we're gonna go, and lights out. You never have any lights on. You're always night vision goggles. Yeah. We had these panels on the trucks where we could see each other real good with the. I can't remember what the technology was.
No, it's the NVS 17.
It's night vision where you guys can see each other.
Right, but there was something on each vehicle that you could see the vehicle in front of you because
you're
driving like that, like in this weird gray, green, like I never drove.
Have you ever looked through nods, Tony?
No.
Night vision? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't, that's not like the movies. They utilize the light of the moon. So or ambient light, I guess. If there's no light out, if it's pitch black, you cannot see shit. If the moon's super bright, you're almost like, why do I need these anyways? Because it's reflected. But they are not good. They give you a headache. They're hard to see. It's pulling down on your helmet. And you're wearing almost like a 1980s era flak vest that can't stop anything.
Right.
So just picture that big heavy helmet. You have to strap it so tight. It's pulling down on you. You got a headache. It's already hard to see.
Constantly pulling them away, just trying to
and you're looking for the enemy, right? You're scanning.
Wow.
You seeing any phantoms out there thinking you see something and it's not that, or was it?
Every once in a while, or you hear someone on the radio call out something that they think they see. It was always nothing. And then we stopped at one point and just, it was like watching fireworks. Because all the airstrikes and stuff that we did before we went in, we just sat there and just like felt and saw just all the everything. It was
power,
like
shit
the
going
shock
off.
and awe, as they called
yeah,
it.
we're like, holy, like this is.
And
actually,
a year ago, you were
this
in
is the
Mentone.
beginning. Like we dropped
months ago.
Yeah.
we dropped a whole bunch of something on somebody, and I guess
and
that's
that's
where we're
Baghdad.
Going. Yeah. No, that was
A smaller city before it.
I don't even know.
Did you have any like feeling that you were a part of history at that point? Because you were in the actual invasion. Again, that guys like me back at everybody wanted to be a part of this. Everybody was waiting for it. Everybody's thinking they're missing the big show, and you guys are actually crossing that berm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or was it more of just I'm hot and sweaty and I want to deal with it?
I might have had a couple thoughts like that. It was like I hope I don't fuck up.
That's
I actually know how to shoot this thing.
Right.
How do you know when to engage and stuff? I would be so scared of like engaging too soon or engaging not enough. You know what I mean?
You wait. Like for me, I wait till like.
Wait until somebody tells you.
No, I just wait till because we would never.
Just don't be the first one to shoot.
Yeah.
No, but you would ask. You would hear.
That's
people
what we call
ask,
sympathetic fire.
And they get permission. With us, there was no news, no cameras, no anything. We were out there just doing whatever the hell. But it was something you would ask permission for. Like I would be in the rear a lot, so I have the whole back 180 degrees. I'm covering. I'm in the back of like a huge convoy. I'm the very very last vehicle, so I've got the whole back. And part of my job is to make sure none of these like crazy crackhead looking like Iraqis come up. And because they would get real close, even if they weren't doing anything. A lot of times
civilian types.
Yeah, a lot of times because. After like a few weeks, any vehicle that you were going to get in some type of conflict with, it was usually like a pickup truck, like a Nissan.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell, but you'd have, we had signs on the back of our trucks, like written in Arabic, like stay away, stay 100 feet away, or this guy will shoot you and stuff. And
had
like,
a picture of Kyle on it.
Yeah.
No, and I was like, so that was one of the things I'd go, hey, this guy's getting really close. It would be like someone would be, and they look all mad or whatever. They'd be past the point of like what they were allowed to be, like it was 100 feet or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd be like, hey, can I shoot him? Well, hold on.
Yeah.
What about now? It's like 20 feet. Can I shoot him? Hold on. Let me ask. Let me ask a couple vehicles up. Let me ask them what they want. And sometimes they just be like, yeah, go ahead, or fire some warning shots. And as soon as you even like aim at them, usually they just take off real quick. But sometimes you just have to shoot a vehicle for no reason.
Yeah.
You don't know what the hell they were doing, but you know that they know that they're not supposed to be on you like that.
Yeah.
So do you remember like what your first engagement was like when you guys were actually encountered the enemy?
I'm trying to. Well, when he asked like how long it was, from the time, that's what I'm trying to remember.
Do you remember if it was days or weeks or?
That's what I'm trying to remember. It was day. It had to have been days because when we thought that we weren't going to run into stuff, we constantly did. But it would be like, it would be like you see some muzzle flashes and you hear a couple little shots and you're like, oh, is it that truck way over there? And they're way far away and they've just got a couple little rifles and they're shooting at, there was at least 6, maybe 8 50 cals and then Mark 19s.
Yeah.
And they have no chance.
You're looking at them like, what are you doing?
So the way we would travel, like if you're in the front, you cover the front. If you're the second vehicle and you're facing like 45 degrees this way, and then it was
like a
staggered column.
So you're not supposed to like if someone's shooting at us from this side, only if you're facing that direction are you supposed to engage. But pretty much as soon as one guy would start shooting at him, everyone would.
Yeah, just everyone opens
and
up.
And just overkill, just destroy 2 guys. In a pickup truck that they should have just hit or whatever, they didn't have a chance at all.
Yeah. Even in a vehicle, huh? Those things just Swiss cheese.
Or sometimes we'd start, and then they'd start driving around. We wouldn't even go chase them. really.
Yeah.
We would just keep kind of on our path, and then you'd see them again. They'd drive off out of your sight, and then they'd come back and either start shooting again or not. But you'd see them and then get permission and
go back
just
at it.
blast them. And sometimes drive over there and figure out who they were, what if they were in uniforms or what their weapons. And sometimes we wouldn't even stop. We would just keep doing like as far as stopping and taking
like reports,
inventory of anything. We didn't even care about any of that.
So how's your mental at this point as you're going through all this stuff? Like you're seeing this, you're engaging the enemy. I mean, wasn't too long ago you were at home. Like, what I'm wondering is, are you grasping what's happening? Like, there's people dying around you. You're at the spearhead of this huge invasion. Are you like grasping the size of this, or is it just kind of going through the motions at this point?
The first couple times there was any actual like shots fired. My body and brain got kind of numb. It was very surreal. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear myself think, but it was because of the types of like enemy we'd run into, and it just being kind of little like crappy operations that never got too close.
It didn't feel threatening?
The first like 5 things that happened didn't really hit that. They were far enough away, small enough weapons, and my guys, my unit, and everyone knew exactly what to do. And they were so professional. I was like, oh, wow. Like,
they don't have a chance.
If I would have got to train with these guys for like a year, I would be like as badass as them.
Yeah.
So I was impressed, but it felt the kind of invincible feeling kind of grew back a little bit as the first like few things happened. But then later there were a couple times where I got started thinking like, one of these might fucking one of these is just gonna get me. I know it. You know? There was a couple times I thought something's gonna get me. You know, it'd probably be me.
Yeah, you're at the end, right?
None of my
chip shots as you come by or something.
Yeah, but as more time went on and no one in my unit got killed, we had a couple of vehicles drive over stuff and blow up, but no one really got even very badly hurt at all. One of my good friends eventually got shot in the shoulder one time, but we were like insanely lucky. I mean, we drove by a tank. We were in a convoy and we drove by a tank that was, I don't know if I ever told either one of you this. I'm sure I told you the story. We drove by a tank that didn't see us go by, and it was just out there waiting for something to shoot at. And we got past it. We were all talking on the radio. We all kind of quietly saw it and just got off.
An enemy tank, you're saying?
An enemy tank. It was basically guys out there sleeping that just didn't. They could have like blown at least one of us up or one of our vehicles up. We drove right by. We saw like the turret and the gun sticking out of like a berm. Drove by, made a big loop, got out of its sight, all got together and talked about it. Like, what was that? And we didn't even know at that point if it was some old tank from like some old Russian. Yeah. We had no idea. But just to be on the safe side, a couple of my good buddies and the captain of the whole unit decided to. Have you ever heard of a javelin?
No.
Yeah.
They decided to just blow the shit out of it with a javelin.
Think of a giant bazooka, basically. We all
kind of like got together and like relearned and figured out, okay, this is how you use it, right? And it was like I was kind of helping them, but it was just mainly these two of my buddies that shot it. Up at an angle, it comes up, and then over top, and just blew the shit out of the tank. And we went back and checked it out, and there was 2 guys in there.
No way.
Yeah.
So they were just passed down, not paying attention.
Something as big of a fluke of that as if those guys had been awake and they just started putting tank rounds at Humvees, they could have been slaughtering you guys.
Yeah. So do you think that that you guys caught them off guard, like as a whole?
Like you said,
because you're not facing a lot of resistance, right?
Based on the way that most Iraqis acted out there, I think they were asleep.
Yeah.
And we were always driving around slow and quiet, and it'd probably been days that they were out there just eating and
getting bored,
using the bathroom, digging holes or whatever. I'll never know.
Yeah,
I'll never know why that happened that way.
So we were
always lucky like that with weird stuff like that.
Yeah. At what point did you face the most resistance from the enemy? Do you end up rolling right up into Baghdad?
We did. And we were all over all like the big cities you always hear about, like Ramadi and Mosul. Like I remember going to all of them. Some of them more than once.
What was Baghdad like?
We went through Baghdad. It had already been like some infantry guys had already gone in there, and
is that where they tore down the statue and drug it through the streets?
Big old fight had happened like a couple of days before, and I don't even remember what we did at the airport. But I remember hoping and thinking that we were going to be able to stay there for a while, and then we didn't. We took off, and then later on, when there was really nothing going on, because the war was won after like
21 days to Baghdad.
21 days.
Damn.
And everything changed as far as like the type of contact you would get, because at first there were actual Iraqis in like uniforms, and stuff, and then that. You didn't see that, and a lot of them would just abandon all their stuff and just like try to hide from it, or like be a part-time soldier. Go out and try to hide and like shoot at stuff, and then just go back home. And
so, do you think they just saw the American forces and what they had, and were just like, hell no, or were they not really committed to the fight, or what was it?
I think Saddam had them convinced, and us convinced, that they just had more people and more weapons and more vehicles than they actually had,
and they didn't,
and more training, because they, like we heard all this crazy stuff about their like special forces guys.
Yeah. Did you ever encounter the Republican Guard guys?
We did, and what we found with them was not anything like what we had heard about them being all crazy and killing a bunch of Marines and stuff, and being like stealthy and.
The Republican Guard had
deadly.
An aura about them. That was always the thing. Like, oh yeah, we're beating these regular troops, but the Republican Guard's going to make a stand. So even that, because in the Gulf War, they were some of the major resistance, and that was the kind of the idea too. Was even like, as you guys are in, you kick their ass, but wait till the Republican Guard gets here. And I remember you telling me once that you had met up with them at one point.
Yeah.
No difference.
Not much difference from the regular.
Really?
Yeah, we're like, what the?
Yeah, that's all you got. I don't sweat you.
But I remember when there was like nothing going on, we ended up taking over this building. This I can't even remember. This is probably halfway through the whole deployment. Or there was something called the Arab Petroleum Training Institute. This like school, this college, I guess. Bunch of rooms everywhere, and we took it over. There were a couple Iraqi soldiers still in there when we rolled up, and we took it from them and called it our home. We all claimed rooms and stuff, like little office buildings. Like we made them into bedrooms and stuff. There was me and my buddy found a shower down in the basement that no one knew was there. So we took cold showers like before telling everyone else that we found showers.
How long had it been since you'd taken a shower?
It had been months. It'd been months.
And you guys were wearing mop suits and stuff too, right? Mop suits are lined with charcoal, so your clothes are covered in charcoal, and then you sweat, and then it's a black muck on you, and then it's hot as hell and everything else.
You're so nasty after like a few weeks.
Does everybody just smell like shit?
Yeah, but it goes away.
Yeah,
you just don't
get used to it,
and no one can tell. You can't like my skin looked all. Some of the pictures I've seen, like my skin looked super dark. Like I was like tan or whatever. It was just dirt. But yeah, that was nice. Taking a cold shower and then having like a flat surface to lay on, because I was laying in the back of the Humvee the whole time sleeping.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you guys would drive, and then when you would pull over to sleep, basically, and pull guard and stuff, and you're just sleeping in the back.
Yeah.
So it was like
I was just sleeping on top of my ammo boxes. That was my bed.
No way.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
My driver, the Sergeant Green, would sleep on the hood or on the usually on the hood, and then the crazy first sergeant would just sit. he would just sit in his seat, in his driver's seat, at all times. He would just sleep like that. He could fall asleep anywhere.
That's crazy.
Like Mad Max, there's this roving gang of teenagers driving down the road with guns and sleeping on their gear.
And he had like a little freezer bag with candy from all the MREs that he would have like behind his seat. And every once in a while, I'd hear him in the middle of the night wake up and go get his candy and just eat a bunch of it.
Yeah.
You know? He'd be like, Carrillo, you up? No, First Sergeant, I don't know. How you doing? Good. Get some sleep. You're going to need it.
Yeah. You know? So he was a good guy to work for?
Oh, he was awesome. Yeah.
So at the end of all this, man, what is your mindset? The mission's a success. You guys roll through and just basically steamroll everyone, right?
Yeah. And we so it took a long time to get back. We were all told, like, when the 21 days, you know, we won or whatever. Like we all were told, like, hey, congratulations, you know, we won this war, you know. So we were after a few more months, we were like, well, why are we still out here? Because there's random missions. At this point, it was just this unit wants to go over here and do this, or some important officers from somewhere are going to come, and we're going to need someone. It was like a volunteer basis. We're going to need someone to go escort them from here to here. And I remember one time I got what we used to call voluntold.
Yeah.
And I had never driven anywhere because I was a 50 cal gunner. I'd never driven anywhere. Yeah. And I'm real bad with directions, you know. And I remember some new captain that we got just picked me out. And he's like, you're going to go drive these guys, and you are going to be the gunner. But Carrillo, everyone called me Carrillo.
Yeah.
You're going to drive. He's like, you remember how to get to the airport, right? Because we had gone back and forth a few times, but I was always on the gun, just not really.
Yeah,
I was just looking around. I was just, just looking at stuff to shoot at. And I was like, yes, sir. I remember how to get there. And it was nighttime.
Oh, shit.
I had no idea where to go. No idea. And the guy had to keep on telling me, like, hey, weren't you supposed to turn right there? I'm like, well, if you know how to get there, why don't you drive?
Yeah.
You know? But I just remember, like, being super embarrassed that I was a Cav scout. Just got through all this stuff.
He's a reconnaissance soldier.
Yeah. And I couldn't remember how to get to the airport, which was like, I don't know, like 6 miles away or whatever, you know. It was like 2 turns.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm still like that with directions, you know.
So what was your mentality at the end of it? Did you suffer from anything, or did it start to play with your mind? How did it go?
I still don't really know how I feel about all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was excited to get out. I wanted to party. I wanted to come back here. Blending back in. I know I listen to a lot of podcasts like this, and all the soldiers I see on, like, some of the bigger podcasts and everything too, you know, they all kind of collectively agree that you'll never be the same. And there's no 100% blending back in, but I don't buy into that necessarily. I think it's possible. And I don't remember where I heard this. It might have been something you said, like way when we first got out.
It's going to be bad if it was me.
Maybe it was someone else. I don't know. Breaking down, like, you know, there's the guys that just always talk about like the old Vietnam vets, like at the VA or at the bars. What are those bars called that they can go to? American Legion and stuff. You know, you can be like that and just identify as that, and it'll just be who you are and were for the rest of your life. And it's kind of like a built-in excuse to never do anything.
Yeah,
professional veteran. Or
just kind of. I'm sure he didn't tell me to just forget about it all and, like, drink it away, but that's what I did. But I didn't feel like I was dealing with anything.
Yeah.
I wasn't like.
I remember you had, like, a numbness. I remember talking to you when you first got back, and you were saying, like, it was like a like, I don't get excited, I don't get happy. It's just kind of leveled out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more just like being baseline all the time and not getting that excitement for life.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
is that combat or is that just military that does that?
That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
As far as combat, one thing I know it has changed in me is just looking at everything kind of like getting the bigger picture more often than most people do about everyday little things. Because at the end, nothing's life or death.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, because I've seen life and death stuff, and it's not like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Like I remember it was hard for me to blend back in because I expected everyone in the world to have like the patience that I had.
Yeah.
You know, someone, if I was at Stater Brothers and someone was complaining about some line being too long or something, I was just like, this is nuts. I'll stand here all day.
Right.
You know, I'm
Who
home.
cares?
I'm safe. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so that took a while to, go away and kind of feel, but it took a long time to feel, because you always, I think this is like a combat thing, maybe not just a military vet thing, but I would always separate myself from the group. Like if I went to a bar or a house party or whatever it is, I would immediately like realize that no one can understand anything that I understand, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to do that.
That's a pretty common theme too. Like I listen to other military podcasts, Jocko's and stuff, and the guys have a very similar thing with what you're talking about.
Yeah, and if you did run into someone who was prior military, you know, they were easier to talk to and stuff. But then that eventually became frustrating too and annoying, and I just stopped mentioning it to anyone ever because, you know, everyone and their mom has been to Iraq now or Afghanistan and done 7 tours, and who knows what their MOS was, what they actually did, when they were there, and all that kind of stuff. And then no one really understands the difference. Like what Chase is saying, the invasion is a little bit different because there was an actual enemy for a little while.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know like for the few years after that, it was hell too for those guys. And so all my buddies went back. When I got out, all my buddies eventually went back and deployed again. And some of them got killed and stuff. And talking to them, it was worse going back when the what do you call it?
Insurgency.
Yeah, it was worse because you're sitting around, nothing's going on for who knows.
You don't know who the enemy is either, right?
Some weird attack from, you know.
Yeah.
They were saying that was way more frustrating.
The IEDs and stuff. Is that what it was? Yeah.
You know, they were saying
I was
that was
tattooing
tougher.
a lot of guys at around that time at Pendleton, and they were getting deployed, and they were saying the same thing. Like, it got weird because you never knew. It wasn't like you're fighting like a enemy that's in uniform, that they got their people. It's just random little sneak attacks and shit.
Right. But what I'm trying to say is, you can blend back in, I think, because I think I have pretty much. I forgot a lot of stuff. I don't think I intentionally blocked anything out, but I mean, I drank a ton.
Yeah.
We used to live together, and Kyle would drink a bottle every night.
Yeah.
So.
And is that coping with it, you think?
I don't know. I don't know what came first.
Yeah. Right.
Chicken or the egg. You know?
Yeah.
The whiskey or the Kyle.
Did partying with all these guys afterwards and all the crazy
Did
stuff
that open that up?
Did that just open that up, and I just got hooked on that?
Yeah, I wonder about that.
I don't know, because I never really stayed up thinking about stuff that happened in the desert.
Yeah.
There's one image that used to hit me every once in a while, just probably because I had a little bit of guilt about it, maybe, but not really that much guilt. Like, I mean, consciously, I don't really care what happened, but there was just one little thing that the image would kind of pop up, but I never like had like night terrors or anything like that.
Right.
Or
so it could have just been like a culture. A lot of this stuff could be like just culture shock of going through so much in such a short period of time, such a huge life change, seeing like the implications.
And that's where like everybody that comes out of combat went in as an individual, though, in some ways. Not everyone is Kyle.
Yeah.
If you've known Kyle growing up, he was an odd bird to begin with. So if you go in with a certain, you know, upbringing and moral standards and stuff, you're going to come out differently than somebody who goes the exact same stuff next to you that was different, because some of your friends that we've made contact with since were affected by it, and they would be telling you a whole different story here. But Kyle, as you can tell, has a very low heart rate.
Yeah.
He's very mellow and laid back in that sense. So he went into it with that, and he came out to it with that, and that might have been a survival thing for him too, that was able to keep him that way. Whereas somebody else who was already high strung or something, it would have been to that tipping point.
Yeah.
Kyle's heart rate went from 60 beats a minute to 62 when he was in combat, or or whatever that may be. So,
what does the country mean to you?
The country?
Yeah.
Not much. No, no, I'm just kidding.
Do you consider yourself patriotic?
I do. The flag means a lot. I feel something every time I see one. And then when I hear, like, watching your guys' podcast and then stories, Chase has told me all these stories before and stuff, and the courage thing, I kind of have that weird soft spot, that weird thing that, like a nerve reaction that kind of goes through my whole body when I hear like a weird courageous story. Someone being afraid and then doing whatever they need to do anyways. I had the same thing just naturally that I think Chase has in him, what that does to him. But it means a lot. I've been to a few other countries. I can appreciate it. Just like that whole experience made me appreciate everything. All the little good things in life. I still kind of carry that. Or sometimes I have to like slap myself and remember that, hey, dude, remember, like, you're all happy all the time and shit. Yeah. 'Cause you're home and you're free.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the regular, you're just making money. You're actually making, I appreciate life.
Yeah.
I see like beauty in all kinds of things and all kinds of weird people. And I know it's short.
Yep.
There were a few times I thought, like when I went to sleep, I thought, I was like trying to figure out, I wasn't keeping track of the day and time. But I remember a couple times trying to think, like, if I die tomorrow, I'll have died on, August, whatever, 2000. And just, thinking about that kind of stuff. It was like it was a possibility in my mind, and I didn't care that much.
Yeah.
But I made it through a lot of different things. That and then stuff after that. I'm just happy.
That's cool.
Happy
man.
to be alive, and a lot of people don't understand how I can like put a positive spin on everything.
Yeah.
And it's a huge part of it is just because all that I think.
At such a young age, you saw the worst the world has to offer in a sense. And a lot of people that have been to Iraq, even without the combat, just seeing the way those people live, it wakes you up to how bad things could be, right? So when you do wake up and you appreciate what you have, because I could be in the back of a Humvee sleeping on ammo, not showering for 21 days, not knowing if I'm going to die, not knowing if I'm coming home in 6 months or a year, or if my friends are going to die. Or I could be those Iraqi civilians, which is even worse, that are living under this tyranny, and they could be attacked at any minute or anything like that. So when you wake up in your soft mattress, whether you're in a small apartment or a big mansion, you're still in an apartment in the United States. I think.
Yep.
Just being here, born here, is almost like winning the lottery, really, right? That's how I always kind of look at it. Like, man, imagine just being born somewhere, like you said, like Iraq under a crazy regime, and that's your normal,
I know we're a little long on time, but I got 2 Kyle stories I want to just because I know Kyle and I know a lot of the stories, and I know you've minimized a lot here, which is understandable and acceptable. We don't want to force anything out of anybody.
And I honestly, I don't remember a whole. I mean, there's so much of my past. Pretty much my entire life, I don't remember it. I don't remember anything.
The Jim Beam remembers, but one was one of the biggest things that affected me in my life, which was much later in life. When I got out of the Army in Texas, I had to come home, and I had my Ford Bronco 2. I told the story at your wedding. My muffler was literally falling off. I had to tie it on with a fence. I was afraid to drive even on like the freeway. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to get home. I didn't know how to get my stuff home, and I thought, who in the world can I depend on? I know I can call my dad, but he's working. Who in the world can I call for help? I called Kyle and said, kind of almost scared to ask, hey, man, will you fly out to Texas and drive me home, basically, right? Kyle literally was like, okay. He called in sick. He lied about work. He flew to Texas on his own dime. He picked me up, and we drove all the way home without a second thought, are you fucking kidding me? Without, what are you going to do for me? Just, my friend needs me. I'm going there, and that's how Kyle's always been, and I know how that's how Kyle was in the military. And that 3-day drive home was a lifetime of memories for me. Like, I'll never forget that, and I appreciate that more than you know, even though it sounds like something stupid. And a story of courage. This is funny because it's a training story and it's a theoretical story. So I don't know if you even remember this, but when Kyle was in basic training, you know what I'm talking about? You have these little blue grenades. It has a fuse and you throw it as a training grenade and they just go pop. They're not going to damage you that bad or anything, but you throw them before you throw the live ones. When Kyle was at Fort Knox, they were doing a training to attack like a trench, like an assault position. So you come up on the sides of the trench and there's an opening in the hole and you kind of cook it off and you throw it in. Either he or somebody else threw it in and the grenade bounced out and it landed in between everybody. And even though it was a training grenade, Kyle threw his body on the grenade and tucked it into him. Remember when we talked about you can't train for that?
Yeah.
You can't practice that. You can't teach that. That's a yes or a no courage moment. In that moment, whether it was training or not, Kyle's instinct was to save his friends. And in a moment, Kyle's instinct on the phone was to, I don't care if I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to go pick up Chase because he needs my help. And that's the kind of person Kyle is. And
that's awesome, man.
So regardless of, like I said, the minimization of a lot of things, I know your stories from Iraq, and I know what it means to be an 18 or a 19-year-old kid on a gun with the Humvee, protecting the lives of everybody in that convoy, and that's what Kyle did. So.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for your service, bro.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thanks for coming on.
Thanks for being my friend since first grade, Kyle.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people would put up with me. But, one more thing. Are you ever bitter at me for dragging you in the Army?
No.
Okay.
No.
Was there ever a thought in your mind like, God damn it, Chase?
Oh, there had to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On day 20, dude, sleeping on ammo.
Yeah.
He's probably cursing you to death.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. We've been wanting to have you on for a lot. I like the stories, and we're going to get more interviews. So if you guys know anybody that has good military stories that they want to come and tell, we will have them. So anything else you got?
Nope. Thanks a lot, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Kyle, you got anything?
Thanks for doing what you guys are doing. The show's awesome.
All right.
I don't watch that much stuff on YouTube, but
yeah, right on. We'll be back next week. Peace out.
Cool.